What's up, guys? Today I'm going to tell you one of the few stories I had during my vacation to Cancun a few years ago. Now, before I get into that, I want to tell you a little bit about my background in terms of alcohol. Not much. The first occurrences were when I smelled beer occasionally when my dad drank it during dinner. And occasionally he would ask me if I wanted a sip just so I could test it out, and like the goody two-shoes I was, I refused on quite a lot of occasions. And so my first real occurrence was during college, and it was during like this sort of social get-together. That was the only time I really was invited to such an event. Anyhow, long story short, again, this is a story for another time. Someone who's a frat bro or whatever, probably just trying to show off, walks into this thing bringing like a freaking glass of Everclear. So that was like my first real experience. That didn't taste too good. Kind of tasted like the rubbing alcohol I was using in the chem labs I was taking at the time, except worse, and in liquid form. And so then I tried out the second, you could say, introduction for alcohol, vodka, which someone had brought, and everyone had almost drained it, and that did not taste too good either. And then my third was this sort of stock beer that they had like dozens of, and that was alright. I can't really remember the taste. And so yeah, I was there at the party. I wasn't really into alcohol, so I had the red cup, pretending to sort of be drinking it. So occasionally I pour in the Everclear, occasionally I pour in the vodka and the beer stock, the stock beer, of course, the canned beer. And obviously, at the time I didn't know this, but mixing alcohols makes it more potent. In fact, I don't even know what I was thinking. I thought it actually was less potent. I thought, by doing this, it would, sort of dilute the system or something or other. Or maybe I was just like pretending to drink it. I mean, I ended up actually sipping down a lot of it, even though it tasted like crap. And again, it's a story for another time, but I remember my friend who I met there, he's just like telling me to drink because I was just super anxious and I couldn't talk to anyone at the party. And so fast forward, and now I'm in Cancun. And so this girl who I went with, family friend, she's telling me they have this beer at the hotel we're staying at. It's called Corona beer. Very good stuff. And yeah, so I went with my family as always, and my mom's family friends. And so she has lots of Asian friends who have children. And so we all went to bed together to Cancun, and everyone's talking about this beer. It's called Corona. According to them, it's like the best beer in terms of like actual beer in Mexico. So I'm like, I want to try this stuff out. And just a disclaimer, we're not rich by any means. We found some sort of really good deal. And I don't even know what was happening, but all the Asian families were flocking there. Even families we didn't invite, we met at the same hotel or nearby hotel. It was some sort of like big deal they had online. But essentially, it was like all you can eat buffets and all you can drink drinks during the entire daytime. As long as the sun was up, you can go to these things. And if you've seen my previous videos, you know my respect and love for food. It's to a level where a lot of other people may never get to, and quite frankly, sometimes I am sort of frustrated when my stomach's full and I just want to enjoy this food more, but it's tough. And I guess I'm a little thankful that I'm not like a fitness instructor, because yeah, I probably would never have opportunities like this. But I digress. I do eat very healthy when I'm not at these sort of buffet venues. So they have these like faucets next to like the soda stations, right? And as long as you had your like freaking bracelet, you could eat anything or drink anything. So these faucets, they had the Corona stuff in it. So I just got a glass cup and tested this stuff out. And I believe I tested it quite a few times throughout the days I was at this sort of hotel thing. And it was decent. It was decently good, but at the same time, I mean, I could see the sort of exquisiteness, the sort of way the bubbles danced around, but quite frankly, when I drank it, it tasted like carbonated water, which is literally just thousands of bubbles, and rubbing alcohol in liquid form. And that's how it was. It was just this strong taste. And I could tell the difference between that and stock beer, but I still didn't like it. And so I've been told since then, you know, beers and alcohol, it's something you learn to love the taste of through time. And I feel maybe it's just I haven't experienced good beers or good stuff yet. And it's simply just me not experiencing real beers. Maybe I just never got that. But I mean, I've talked to people my age about it, and either they don't have that much experience either, or their experience is limited. And quite frankly, if that's the case, I don't like the freaking stock beers or canned beers or any of that, because it just all tastes like different variations of rubbing alcohol to me, which doesn't taste good. And so here's the gem of the story, and I saved this for last for the true diehard viewers. I look at the analytics, and most people tend to click away after like 1 or 2 minutes. And so I'm saving the true gem for the diehard viewers who respected me enough and enjoyed the video enough to watch through up until this exact point. So along with like the hotel reservations and like the buffet and stuff that came along with our visit to this place, we also got free access, I wouldn't say 24/7, but close to 24/7 access to the 2 huge bars on the hotel. Now the hotel was huge. It had like 2 big pools, and so each of these pools was connected to a bar. So you could be standing in the water waist high and be ordering drinks over the counter to the bartender, or you could be standing outside of the pool on the dry land and ordering drinks. It was that sort of bar. It was like a 360 bar, which was pretty big, and there's 2 of them. And so here's the thing. As long as you had your bracelet, your like green bracelet, and it was clear that you had hotel reservations here, you could get unlimited bar service from any of these people. Any drink you could name, they could make it. And I was like, that was my first question. I asked my friend, what if they don't know how to make the drink? Well, first you can tell them if you know how. Otherwise, well, let me tell you how she responded. She said, oh, they'll know how to make your drink. You name anything, they'll make it for you. And so I tested this out. And me being the pansy I was, I went up to them, and here's the thing. It was like you would expect, at a typical bar where you have to pay per drink. It's like crowded as heck, right? People shouting over you, waving like money, almost like it's like the stock market. Well, this place was just perfect. Sure, sometimes it got crowded during the day and you had to wait, but oftentimes it was chill enough where you can just go when you wanted to, and it would take like sometimes 0 minutes, sometimes up to 5 minutes before they could take you. And I went up and I was like, can I get a Shirley Temple, please? Because I had heard that like 50 times on on movies or something, and it just sounded amazing. And if you guys don't know what it is, it's simply a drink where it's like a Sprite, a certain type of strawberry flavoring, and that's pretty much it. And I can't remember, but I feel like the bartender, I wouldn't say he laughed at me, but he was like, look at this kid. And so he shoots the bar gun with Sprite, then shoots in the freaking strawberry filling stuff, and then he hands this thing to me, and I'm like, tastes pretty good, and I got like 5-10 Shirley Temples when I was there, and someone's got to leave a comment and tell me where I can buy that strawberry sort of flavoring, but yeah, I would love to have that again. But I digress. The gem of the story. So this was like heaven. Like, I'm sure there's like alcohol lovers out there who know their stuff. And looking back, now that I know more about alcohol, now that I've watched like Tipsy Bartender on YouTube and watched like hundreds of Tipsy Bartender videos and just, realized how complex alcohol can be, quite honestly, I realized like back then that would have been like a heaven to a lot of people. Any frequent bar goers, bartenders who were like off, I mean, that would have been a heaven. Like, luckily, my friends were smarter than me, so they ordered a few complex drinks. I don't even remember what they were called, but I remember drinking this one drink that was like, it was half ice slush, half alcohol, and the whole thing was blue, and it tasted like blueberry, but at the same time there was a sharp tang of alcohol, and it was quite amazing. And then we had this like red drink, I can't remember what it was called, it was like red sunset flaming above the beach or something like that, and it tasted like cherry, but not too much, and it was red, and yeah, it was literally just like a red version of that blue one, but they were completely different drinks. They weren't related, and I guess they tasted the same, but that one was like more alcohol. And so this was quite the experience. I loved it. Looking back, I realized how great it was. At the time, I sort of took it for granted. And yeah, I mean, quite frankly, even my friends, they barely indulge in the bar. And I know some of you guys, like, leave comments on what you would have done. I mean, some of you guys who are probably avid alcohol fans probably know what sort of potential that holds when you can, like, you literally, like, we did have to tip the bartenders. We didn't have to do jack squat. We just had to be there and sort of ask for drinks, and they would make them. And they didn't get mad or anything, because that was freaking how it works. They were being paid by the hotel, and they were happy to. They weren't like stingy about it. And obviously, if you harassed them enough, you could tip, or if you wanted their attention quickly, you could tip. But it was quite an experience. Looking back, if I ever have a chance again, I mean, I'd probably mess it up, because I don't have good alcohol knowledge to this day. I've just learned that there is a huge variety of alcohol you could experience in this world. And so, I don't know. I'm either going to bring like a bartender, or a list of drinks, or just freaking screw up again and get like 5 Shirley Temples if I ever go to one of these things again, which I don't know if I will. And a lot of you guys might be thinking, oh, that's a rich thing. Can't believe you can do that. But quite frankly, we were a sort of lower middle class family along with a lot of the others there, and we just got lucky. Maybe there's like a deal on Groupon or something. I don't know. But you gotta check that out if you're looking into it. And it was ridiculous. I mean, the potential that we wasted there, just a bartender with all this knowledge, and quite frankly, nothing, like, no one asking for much. And I realized, you could have said, Will, you idiot. You could have asked the bartender for suggestions. And I think I did. No, the thing was, the bartender didn't speak English well. And so you could have been like, Will, you could have asked the people around you. You could have socialized with them. and asked for drinks. And so, yeah, I realized that, but at the time, I wasn't really there to drink alcohol or any of that, so that's my real reason. And so it was just an awesome experience, pretty darn cool, and I still remember there's so much more during that sort of vacation. I had like there's actually like restaurants that were built into the hotel, like 4 or 5 of them, and that came along with the deal. Like, as long as they were open, and they're usually open during the evenings to nighttime, we could go there, and as long as like it wasn't full, and if it was full, all you needed to do was book reservations ahead of time for free early. We can go there, and it'd be like a typical restaurant. I mean, there was Japanese hibachi, there was Italian, an Italian restaurant, etc., etc. And we went there, and I still remember it was just like ordering food like a typical restaurant, and then leaving without having to pay a thing. It was awesome. But of course, I was glad after like a week of staying there. It was a little bit too much. I mean, paradise isn't really paradise for that long. When you look at yourself in the mirror and then you realize you gained 20 pounds of fat, or your belly's sticking out, or you are getting pretty sluggish and bored of just jumping around in the beach, or yeah, drinking alcohol. I don't know, maybe you guys would never get bored of drinking alcohol. But yeah, it seemed like a paradise now, looking back, which I never really took into account. Neither did the adults who went with me. And so I think that reminds me of another thing. I was during one of these restaurants on like my first day, I actually did have another occurrence with alcohol because the drinking age there is lower, and so they ordered like you could do whatever, and it was just me and a friend because the rest of the family had eaten. And so we were eating at this like Hispanic restaurant, and I was just like, you know what, let's order some alcohol. So we both got pina coladas, I believe, or maybe they were tequilas. I can't remember which one they were, but they were sour as fruit. So we had heard the name many times before. I believe it was tequila. We had heard the name many times before, and basically it came, and then it was like in those little saucer things with the skinny sort of handle, and there's like this sort of salt or sugar or something along the sides, and then the actual drink, there was liquid, but it was mixed with this sort of like sludge that was like a mountain in the middle. It's like brownish yellow sludge. So we drank it, and it was just sour as F. Didn't taste good for me, didn't taste good for him. And then, you know, I'm just going to throw in one more mini story. I remember, like, midway through the vacation, I was just like, screw it, I want to do something fun. So it was late at night, everyone else had gone to sleep or done their own thing. I walked up to the bartender, and I was just like, I can't remember what it was either vodka or something else, but I went up and said, give me a vodka. And then the bartender looked at me, and he was like, are you sure? And I was like, you betcha. And he sort of laughed, and he was like, are you sure? And I'm like, you betcha. And obviously I never, like, if it was vodka, I had only tasted it once before, and that was a while ago. But I had simply said it, not remembering the taste, not knowing the taste, just wanting to try it. And so he gets this glass out, and then he pours like this much vodka, or maybe it was tequila or something, probably vodka, and yeah, I couldn't down it. It was disgusting. And so I don't know, for me it's always like the taste. It just tastes terrible, not anything else. I mean, I guess that's the only reason people have a hard time drinking alcohol. But yeah, I've never actually gotten that drunk. Maybe it's because I've restrained myself on many occasions, but yeah, I think the worst time was back in that first story I told with the mixture of 3. And so I think I drank like a full cup of that full mixture, but I never got really drunk. Like, I have yet to experience what drunk feels like. It literally felt like I was completely normal after that. So, see you guys later. Thanks for watching on 20 minutes. Leave your comments on your thoughts on this. I'll see you guys later.